So this video is kind of different than most of my other videos. I'm not going to be really reviewing any charts or anything of that sort. I'm really just going to be delving into a more conceptual video in which I'm going to just dive into like how you actually build out a strategy or an edge in the market that is profitable for you. Because just wandering around the market, hoping that you're going to place this wonder trade or one trade, or not really understanding, like, it all comes down to like running a business. You're actually running something that has to understand what is happening. It needs to have a strategy. It needs to have a system in place um, that actually works for you. So I'm just going to dive into like creating your trading style. This is extremely important, right? So what exactly is your strategy? What things do you look at before you enter a given trade? What things are important to you, etc., right? Um, but building one is difficult. And you're not going to succeed by just copying other people's strategies, which happens a lot. Let's be fair, right? It's a lot of like, you'll see trader, this person doing XYZ, and you're going to do exactly what he does or try to implement exactly what he does in order to get profitable. Or even worse, you're literally copy trading people. You're literally just like looking at a trade someone else is putting, you're grabbing that exact trade, placing that exact trade without even understanding the fundamentals of why this profitable trader is putting up this trade. So, yeah, don't copy other people's strategies, because these people probably didn't copy anybody else's strategy. They probably built this thing out from scratch, or just built this thing out from everything they've learned, putting it all together to a point where it's like coherent and like for them it all makes sense. So what are some steps you can take to actually create your trading style? Well, I think the most easy thing to start with is, as you can see here, just like really defining what your preferred time frame is. What is the time horizon in which you want to be in a trade and exit a trade, right? So this can be, for some people that are watching this, you don't even want to try trading short term. You just want to put your money in, leave it for a year, double your money, and get out, right? And that's just investing. You do research in things. You're like, hey, this seems solid. This seems like a good investment or good trade. And a few months later, you get out. That is more what I would consider investing, or like in a year you get out, or 2 years you get out. You have this good return on a few €1,000 or a few $1,000 or whatever you put in, rather than trying to sit behind the computer, become a trader. For most people watching this, you're not going to become a profitable trader, and you're way better off just realizing that now, not to discourage you, and just put in the money, right? And just leave it there and do investing. And this is technically, you'd still be learning a bunch of fundamentals about trading, right? But you'd be investing in the long term. So you could say like 6 months to 2 years, you're leaving things in and you're just like investing, or maybe more years than that, right? And you're just going to see your account grow, and you're going to keep putting money in because you have a job, etc. And you're going to get money anyways. Swing trading, so this essentially is you're holding from anywhere from a week or 6 days, whatever, a few days to a few weeks, or maybe even months on end. So this is also more like towards the direction of investing, etc. This is what I do most of the time. I usually hold a trade anywhere from 3 days to a few weeks, and some I have really swing trades that are like 6 months long, right? Which is essentially borderline investing, right? So that's also just like, what do you gravitate towards, right? So this could be anywhere from like 1 day to 6 months, in my opinion, right? Then you have day trading. This is anywhere from, in my opinion, I would say like a few hours, right? So let's put 4 hours up to like a week or something, 1 week. And then scalping is really just like, you're holding for 5 minutes up to maybe like 2 hours max. I wouldn't even say that is within scalping, to be honest. Like, that is like pushing the agenda on what scalping is. So, right, so this could just, day trading could just be 1 hour or like 15 minute even, right? It's all within a day. So once you define kind of like what your preferred like outlook is on like temporally, so like how long do you want to hold on trades? How long do you want to be behind the computer? Like with investing, you really don't have to sit there at all. Swing trades, you can put and just chill, and you can go to the beach and like a few hours later check it out again, see if nothing drastic has happened. A few days later, like, you'll check it every day if you're swing trading, right? You're going to be checking the charts every day, but you're not going to be sitting there like a slave to your computer. Day trading, a lot more time spent by the computer, and scalping is like, you gotta fucking be there, right? You're there all the time trying to make money. So now you kind of define what techniques you want to use, right? So there's so many things. I just listed like 10 here, but there's hundreds, you know? Like I can continue to put things down here that, like, you know, you can put down Fib, like Fibonacci levels. You can put down like thousands of things, right? Elliott waves. You want Elliott waves? And I don't really discriminate against any of these. Like, I think it's so dependent on what type of person you are, which you pick. But do you want trend lines? Do you want order blocks? Do you want smart money concepts? Do you want to know where liquidity is? Do you want to look at the order books? Do you want exo charts? Do you just want to use support and resistance? Do you want moving averages, RSI, MACD, Fib levels, Elliott waves? I don't care, right? Like, whatever works for you works for you. Everybody has their own edge and understanding of the market and a way to kind of play it from there. Maybe, you know, maybe you're just like gut. And maybe you're a combination of 3 or 4 of these. I know I use a bunch of these. I still use trend lines, right? One of the most basic concepts, right? I still use order blocks. I still use smart money concepts, liquidity. I don't really use order books. I've tried it. I just never really got to really like fully understand it and have my knee on it to the point that I just use it all the time. Exo charts, I did it for a while. Wasn't really my thing. I couldn't keep it up. Support and resistance, I still use. Moving averages, I don't really use. RSI, sometimes. I kind of like seeing some divergences, but it's not something I consistently look at. Fib, I do use. Gut, that's probably the main thing that I actually use. I've spent so many hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds to thousands of hours behind charts that it's like, even at times that I didn't place trades for weeks, I'd just be looking at the chart, right? And that kind of creates this gut feeling for the chart and kind of how the market moves, especially certain charts like Bitcoin or S&P mini futures, whatever you're looking at. You're going to create a gut feeling for that specific chart or that specific market, right? So you can just pick one of these or 5 of these or 10 of these and combine them into your own style. And how do you get that? Well, you get the gist, right? So how do you pick them? You study and see what sticks, right? So there's the saying, like, I think it goes something like, if you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually something will stick, right? If you study enough, so at some point, some things are going to be like, that makes sense to me. And I like trading with that because I can see it. When I'm looking at the chart, I can feel like, oh, that level looks like a support and resistance level, or this looks like a trend line. And with trend lines, I usually see a liquidity grab. When I long the liquidity grab, blah, blah, blah. However you trade, whatever you see in the charts when you're practicing or studying these things are going to be able to be things you apply to your strategy, creating your own edge that nobody else has, right? Which is what every successful trader I have ever met does. They don't copy other people's shit, right? Because that just doesn't work. It needs to be from inside you. It's like, trading. I was listening to one of these trading books, and they said trading is one of the most dangerous things in the sense of like, there is no limitation. It's a complete creative outlet for any trader, right? You have complete creative ability. You're completely allowed to do whatever you want and interpret things however you want, act however you want, right? Which is both intensely freeing, but also very dangerous, because if you don't just practice with discipline, then in the end what happens is the fact that with so much creative outlet that you can do, you'll probably start whiffing, which is what happens to 99.9% of traders, right? So for me, some people, these people I've all learned something from, or I would just recommend them, right? These are books. These are old traders that have written a bunch of trading books, right? That you can learn something from. And I have tons more. These are just some that I put in there, 3 that I remember from PA books or price action books, let alone mental books, right? And then here's a bunch of people you can just find on Twitter, right? These people all have something to teach you. Some of these are my friends. Some people I haven't really spoken to. Some people are even coaches that I've had, right? So again, you can see here's the chart guys. An intensely different trading style than most other people. A lot of price action stuff. And especially if you watch Charting Man Dan, this guy, he's usually the one that makes most of the videos. You can learn so much from his style of trading, right? Cheds, another trader, you can learn so much of what he's doing. Do I agree with all of their strategies and all of their takes on the market all the time? No. But nonetheless, there's so many things to learn from that I don't even use a lot of what they're talking about. I've just watched hours of their content to understand what are they looking at, right? CryptoCred, another great YouTuber, another lot of value in there. Ninja Scalp, a lot of value in his videos of just like, you can see I've still been watching him recently to kind of just see his take on the market, right? To kind of see what is he looking at here. Does that mean I'm copy trading him? Am I looking at the exact same things? No. But for luck reasons, I see a lot of, like, he used exo charts. I just don't use that, right? But I'll see confluence of just my gut feeling in the chart and his analysis. I'm like, oh, well, that's in line. Well, that's in line. Okay, well, that's nice, right? Does that mean I'm like, or that's not in line at all, but I think my strategy is better. I think maybe that's actually a good take. There is liquidity there. I hadn't even seen that, etc., right? And then a bunch of Twitters, all these guys, smaller guy, Epic, has some great content out there. AMD hasn't posted in a while, but AMD, love this guy, great friend. Aztecs, value to be had, a lot of value. See, here, I didn't even see this, but I'm literally in a near long right now, right? And you can see that they have the same take of like, these are my take profits exactly, right? Or more or less. So you can see that there's just so much to learn from all these traders, right? Tyler, Ape Durden, a lot of value to be had. Elise, a lot of fucking value to be had as well. Raskin Gunnar, Trader EXO, Trader SC, they're all in here, right? Like, you can learn so much from these guys, all of these guys, different people, completely different trading styles, but literally just get out of your way, learn from them, see like, hey, this will stick. And there's so many in here, I can't even like go over them all, right? Okay, next thing. Risk and reward. So once you have kind of a strategy, because you've thrown so much shit at the wall that something stuck and some things just work for you, you need to make sure you understand your risk and reward. So this is pretty simple. I'm not going to delve into deep discussion here about risk and reward. It's really just like, how much do you risk and what are logical levels in percentage and like on the chart spots that are good take profit levels, right? Meanwhile, if you want to define your risk in dollars, in your account size or percent of account size, that is fine, right? But I think that when it comes to a given trade and what your take profits are, define it by the chart, define it per percentage. Don't define it ever of like, oh, well, that'll be $300 or $3,000 or, however much you're gaining on a given trade. Define it per what makes sense on the chart, never by what dollar sign would be attached to that profit. Now, if you do that per loss, I think it makes more sense because you know your account size. And you're just like, okay, well, my account size is $10,000, $20,000, right? So let's say 10. My account size is $10,000. I'm okay with losing 1% of that, right? Per trade, or 2% of that per trade. So that's essentially $200 on a trade. So that's kind of how you can define it in dollars, which makes more sense. I still think that mostly you want to do it per account size and then profits per chart. Backtest. So once you kind of have shit on the wall that's sticking, it's important to just backtest it. So go back in price, in history, see how your plan, how your strategy, how your longs, how your shorts would play out on the chart, right? And maybe if you're adding gut, like I put up there, gut, you can still backtest for your own gut feeling. And I'm going to do a whole video on backtesting and how to really backtest properly and how to log all that. But just make sure you backtest this strategy, whatever it may be, whatever you learn. And it's going to take hours of looking at the chart and hundreds of hours and hundreds of hours of studying. But if you're in this game, then you're in this game, right? And it's not really like a matter of like, oh, do I really want to do this? If you want to be successful in this, you're going to have to do it. Take it or leave it, right? And then finally, journal. I can't stress this enough. I'm going to do a whole video on this as well. You need to just monitor your performance. You're not just sitting here behind a computer and putting random things, right? You have to treat trading like it's an actual business. Like you're literally keeping tabs on all the expenses, all the income, everything. It's like you're filing for taxes, right? Like it's not just some game where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna put a trade here, put a trade there, and then No, you have to analyze every step you take, everything you do, why you place it. Go back, like, well, that was a non-profitable trade. Was on a Friday? Let me look at every Friday in history that I've traded. Oh, shit, I'm shit on Fridays. Why? Oh, my mindset on Fridays is like, it's weekend. I want to go do this. My girlfriend's coming over, whatever it may be, right? Like, it's a bad time to trade for me on Fridays. What are my Tuesdays, I'm just profitable every Tuesday, right? So I'm going to place more trades on Tuesday. Make sure I copy what I do on Tuesdays, my routine on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, so that I stop having those Friday shit days, etc. You need to analyze exactly what you're doing, right? And yeah, so this, you can read out what it says. Of course, there's a video on journaling and the importance of it coming out too. But this essentially covers it, right? So a lot of it, just how you're going to create your strategy is by literally just like 1, looking at charts, 2, trading charts, 3, studying, right? Maybe studying should be 1, right? Studying, and just different styles. What makes sense to you? What clicks with your brain? What doesn't? So yeah, no, that's essentially it. Again, this is no financial advice or anything. It's literally just me blabbing about my understanding of trading, hoping that something sticks for somebody watching this. And yeah, so there's going to be links in the bio of this video. Just, you can join the team. We have a bunch of people in Telegram. We have a bunch of people on Twitter following me, where I post most of my trades that I'm looking at. And yeah, so join over there. There's a newsletter down there where I cover macro, and there's a bunch of courses, whether it's pullback trading, where it's smart money concepts, liquidity spotting. All these things are also on the YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. And yeah, that's it.